Anyone ever undergone a birthday and everyone forgot? Yes, really? Your husband forgot your birthday? Anyone else? I've heard that especially if you have a partner and you forget your partner's birthday, it will never happen again. All hell breaks loose, right? You never did it again, right? So, sometimes, if there's no one you know around you to celebrate your birthday, persons can even consider suicide. It's just such a trauma. No one knows I'm alive. No one knows I was born. No one cares. It's like the full impact of an existential crisis. No one celebrated my birthday. No one knows I was born today. Can you imagine anything more horrible? Some or other, we instinctively think that our birthday is special. But actually, how many of you here remember being born, popping out of your mother's womb? No one remembers their birth because it was so painful. It was the most painful thing. It's as painful as death. Still, we want our birthdays celebrated. We want to feel that our appearance in this world is something special. We want to feel that we have a special mission in store for us, right? We don't exactly know what that mission is, but we still want to feel that I'm here for a special reason. Often, people will explain that life is a learning process. How many of you here have said that? Raise your hands, please. Yes, life is a learning process. It's all about learning your lesson, right? How many have said that? It's all about learning your lesson. But I always ask the question then, okay, life's a learning process. It's all about learning your lesson. Can you please tell me what is it you're supposed to learn? When you take a lesson, when you go through a learning process, there's a particular goal that you're aware of, an educational goal. So what is the educational goal of undergoing the so-called learning process of life? Everyone goes blank. Sometimes they say, hey, but that's why you're living, to find out what is the lesson that you're supposed to learn. Now that's a very blind educational process, isn't it? You don't know what is the lesson you're supposed to learn, but you go to school. How many would like to go to school like that? Welcome to University of Auckland. We can't say exactly what you're supposed to learn here, but we do hope that during the course of your 3 years here, you'll figure out what it is. How many would sign up for that kind of education? No one. So, if we're going to put so much attention on our birthday, we should at least have some idea what it is and why it is that we are here in this world. And who are we anyway? Then you can think about celebrating your birthday. Now, actually, the yoga texts, especially Bhagavad Gita, explain that you, the unit of spiritual consciousness, are unborn. As Krishna explains in Bhagavad Gita that for the Atma, that unit of spiritual consciousness, there's no birth or death. There's no beginning, there's no end. It's our contact with the body and mind of matter that has a beginning and end. The body breaks down, the mind breaks down. But you, the spirit soul, the unit of spiritual consciousness, you go from body to body. Actually, you are unborn. It's simply the body that takes birth and dies. Not only are you unborn, but the Supreme Consciousness is also unborn. Now, the most inconceivable thing for our tiny brains is when we hear that the Supreme Consciousness can also appear in this finite temporary world. This is one of the greatest mysteries of the yoga system. The top rung of the yoga ladder, bhakti, connecting with the Supreme through pure love and devotion, reveals to you that the Supreme Consciousness apparently takes birth in this world, although the Supreme Consciousness is unborn. Now, let's consider. You, as a tiny particle of the Supreme, you have, generally speaking, all the qualities of the Supreme Consciousness, but in tiny amounts. Just like a drop of seawater has that same salty quality, but in a very minute degree. The tiny drop of seawater cannot compare in saltiness to the whole ocean. You are qualitatively as good as Krishna, just like the particle of gold is qualitatively equal with the gold mine. But when we talk quantity, there's a huge, unlimited difference. So, if you want to be the Supreme, in one sense you can. You can be a little Supreme. And what's the proof that you're just a little Supreme? The proof is that you, if you honestly admit it, you may admit that you're having a bit of trouble in this temporary world. Now you may say, "Oh, I'm not having any trouble." Just like the party you saw. Everything is fine. Just keep yourself distracted. Keep yourself busy doing things. Keep yourself intoxicated, making merry. There's no problem. But the intelligent person understands, for all that false, temporary distraction, you have to work very hard. Working very hard doesn't simply mean working a job. It means struggling with material nature to get what you want. That's work. The employment is just part of that struggle. You have to exert yourself. You have to undergo austerities and sacrifice to get what you want. What you want never comes automatically. It never comes the way you want it, and it never lasts as long as you want it to. Therefore, struggle. Can you see that? You may say, what about super rich people? Yes. They have all the money, all the wherewithal to get whatever they want. Isn't that the easy life? No, because even the richest person still has to deal with his or her own body and mind. And the body and mind are always a problem. So you may possess practically incalculable wealth, but still you're struggling, especially because your body and mind must break down. I was talking recently when I was in Cairns. Those of you who were here at the end of July may remember that I had a real wicked cough, real body-shaking cough. So while I was visiting Melbourne, speaking there, I decided that I'd better find some hot weather and deal with this cough. Some of you may remember I explained that before I got back to Auckland in time for that first cold snap that hit around, weekend of July 23rd or something like that. I've been in the States. I've been speaking in Las Vegas. Not gambling, no casinos. Yes, Sin City. I was speaking there and it was 37 degrees. I know Aucklanders, which they fainted at 37. Uninhabitable. Aucklanders always have to feel those breezes, those sea breezes. Otherwise they could just get destabilized. So I was in Las Vegas, 37 degrees, and then to get on the plane to come back to Auckland, I was in LA and it was 27 degrees. And then I got back to Auckland and the first cold snap that hit before the recent one. And it went down to 0 at night and so on and so forth. So I went to Cairns because we have some bhakti yoga practitioners there who are doctors and they have a medical clinic. So because of the clinic there, which I really didn't need, I just needed the hot weather. So I went there. They invited me there and made all the arrangements. So they were telling me some interesting things. That the most painful thing for this doctor couple, these bhakti yoga practitioners, is dealing with terminal patients. Not because the pain is not there because they're witnessing death, someone dying. No, the pain is there by their seeing persons give up their bodies with no knowledge whatsoever. No knowledge of what's going on, and not even the slightest drop of any kind of spiritual sentiment. Definitely no knowledge, but not even spiritual sentiment. Nothing. Just, so what now? Why is this happening? So half the time, this couple told me, the terminal patients get very angry. They have to blame someone, and they blame the government. What kind of government is this here in Australia? Why didn't they detect my cancer quick enough so I didn't have to have it? They just rage. Why is this happening to me? It's the fault of the whole country. It's the fault of the whole government. They just go on and on like that. How can I be dying? How can I be undergoing this? So either they're very angry, or else they're very afraid. What's happening? I mean, can you do something about it? I mean, my daughter is graduating from the uni next year. You mean I'm not going to be here? I mean, what does all this mean? Can someone explain to me? So this couple told me that what they do is what the only recourse that all the doctors do with terminal patients. You basically have to drug them to the max so they're practically unconscious, comatose. That way they can deal with both the physical pain and also they can deal with the anger or the fear. This is the best that a material society can do for you. When it's time for you to give up your body, they'll drug you to the max. That's all. No one will give you knowledge. No one will give you any kind of enlightening information. It's just that same intoxication that you pursue on the weekends, whenever your weekend starts, Thursday, Wednesday. That same intoxication. Yeah, I know what's going on. That same intoxication that everyone's pursuing, you can get 10 times as much and pure quality when you die. Is that something to look forward to? And that's all that can be done for you. So for this bhakti yoga couple, it's very painful to see that.